When I was first getting my business going and I was trying to find clients to work with and scale past that point, and even still to this day, there was always this quote that had stuck with me, and that quote is, "What one man can do, another can do." And that's from the movie The Edge with Alec Baldwin and Anthony Hopkins. In context to building a business, it simply means that there are so many people out there that are doing exactly what we want to be doing, and we can just look to them, see what they're doing, replicate that, and then apply it to our own lives. If another person can do the thing that you want to be doing, then you can do that too. There is nothing that is preventing us from having what we want in life. This is part 2 of the video business series, in which I will be going through how to get clients for yourself. So in the last part, I went through mentorship and why it's extremely important to find somebody who's living the lifestyle and having the career that you want to have for yourself, and then working with them for free so that you can pick up how they run their businesses and do their creative work and then inject it into your own career. Now, in this second part, we're going to be deep diving how to, first of all, locate the kinds of clients that you want to be working with, how to actually offer them something that they would find valuable, and then how to do the work within that agreement that you guys have arrived upon, and then how to kind of take it to the next level past that point. So the first thing that you want to remember when you are looking for these clients and you're wanting to be working with a business, for example, it's not about money. The exchange that you guys are going to be entering into is not a financial exchange, it is about value. You have something that you can do for them that they find valuable. And if it's a business exchange, that means that you're going to be creating marketing assets for them. So maybe it's in the form of social media posts, or maybe it's a brand video that's going to go on the homepage of their website, or a testimonial video of clients who really enjoyed working with this business owner. You're going to be making these assets and giving them to them with the premise that those assets are then going to do the work for you. And then in creating them and giving them to them, they're going to become a more profitable business themselves. That is why this is such a very important industry to be involved in, and why it's such a great niche in terms of the marketing side of things and creating things for business owners that they can use as assets to scale. Now, if you don't have a portfolio built out yet for the type of clientele that you want to be regularly working with, what we do is we go into a business, or we call the owner, we get in touch with them somehow. We tell them that we want to build a portfolio for ourselves. We're just starting to get into making videos for businesses. Would it be cool if I came in and I made this video for you? And that video can be of anything. So you're going to use your own creativity in terms of what you think you should be shooting for them. When I first got going, I liked construction stuff. I made a free video for my older brother who had an excavating company. I just brought my camera with me and shot a bunch of stuff and made a video. And then I did the same thing for a construction company. I used to actually work for that construction company, and I was just transparent. I said, "Hey, James, I'm making videos now. Can I come and make a free video for you?" People are always going to say yes to that. If they say no and they're like, "What's the catch?" then you probably don't even want to have a working relationship with them anyways. So don't sweat it if people say no to free stuff. If you're having a hard time with this mindset shift in terms of approaching it from a free to fee headspace, then there's this really good book called The Go Giver, which is a play on words instead of go getter. Basically, the book covers how to adopt the right mindset to give, and then you will receive things. So if you're wondering how to find these clients, like how to find people who want videos, I'm just going to share a little story and tell you how I did it, and then I'm sure you can draw some kind of inspiration from there in terms of what you can do for yourself. When I started, I would attribute everything that I built to 2 individual people. So the one, his name was also Jay, and the other, his name was James. So Jay was in a band with me when I was younger, and he worked for an audio company. And while I was building up my business, I reached out to Jay, and I wanted to do something that wasn't construction-y or dirty anymore. I wanted to do something that was kind of in the vein of what I wanted to be doing. So I reached out to him and I asked him if I could come and work for the company he was working for. And he said, yeah. So I was working with Jay for probably 6 months or so while I was building up my business. Then his company got bought out by a bigger company. And then when COVID happened, I was still kind of working for them, but at that time I had gotten to be pretty decent at video. So the general manager of that company, Jeremy, got to know me pretty well by that point, and he gave me a call and he said, hey, there's this sports thing that's happening and they're doing this thing called the Light of Hope. And it'd be really cool to have it documented. And I pretty much finished his sentence and said, man, like, can I come and video that? During that project, I went out every single night for 12 days straight, and I filmed all night. And then I stayed up until 4 or 5 in the morning, edited the video, and sent it over to the sports event organizers every single night. So they got 12 videos. At the end of that, they ended up paying me $1,000, which in the grand scheme of things is not a lot of money, but I was doing it for free, and I certainly didn't expect them to pay me at all. And then from that point, I did more projects for that audio company. They would have, you know, through COVID, they had like events that were run by the city. So they wanted me to go out and film these events for townships. So there was, I'm up here in the 51st state. There was a Canada Day celebration for one township, a live event for another township. And then the audio company itself, they wanted like a brand video, so I made that for them. Beyond that, the sports event was called the Canada Games, and it was being held in my hometown that year, which actually ended up getting pushed back because of COVID. But Canada Games was now hiring me to go and shoot stuff for them. And they had me shoot stuff for them once or twice a month. Throughout that whole kind of period, there's this celebration that happens every year called Emancipation Day. And there was this guy working for the Canada Games named Bowie, and he reached out to me. He said, hey Jay, can you come and make this video for me for Emancipation Day? And he said, I don't have any money for it. And I said, that's fine. I'm happy to just come and make the video for you. From there is this other organization called the First Ontario Performing Arts Centre. And they saw the Emancipation Day video because Emancipation Day was collaborating with the Performing Arts Centre. The marketing manager from Performing Arts Centre reached out to me and said, hey Jay, here's the budget I have for all these videos we want made for initiating people to get back to the pack, they called it. And I filmed those. Beyond that point, because I was working in community stuff and people in the community were seeing it, there was this marketing company called Form and Effect, and they reached out to me, and then they wanted to work with me. And then I did so many projects with them, from a floral company video to a mayoral campaign, and on and on and on for this marketing company. And it continued to spread past that point. So again, we're going all the way back to the start here. That started with one person. I reached out to somebody that I knew that I didn't think would lead me to that path that I went on, but that is the path that I ended up taking. Where I'm at now, that part of my career is kind of fizzled out. I've stopped doing community stuff like that. I was very community event heavy for a couple of years there. Now I'm in the construction world almost exclusively. I only reach out to construction company owners. That's all I want to work with, because I just genuinely love the construction world and I know a lot about it. That vein of my career started from James. When I was working with my mentor, who I talked about in the first video, I still had a day job. And I had multiple day jobs. You know, I would do something and get tired of it, get another job. One of those jobs was working with James for his pretty young construction company at that point. I was an adequate employee. I was good at carpentry and everything. And it ended up not working out with him because I think I wasn't serious enough or something. I think I sang on site too much. But you know, like after I finished working with him, we ended things on good terms and we hadn't talked for maybe a year or so. And then I was getting into this whole video thing, and this was at the same time as I was doing the stuff with, you know, the Performing Arts Centre and all that stuff. I reached out to James and I said, hey James, I just learned video. I'm not just doing photo anymore. Can I come and make a free video for you? And he said yes. He was super down. So I went and made a free video for him. Then one of his competitors, his local competitors, ended up seeing that video, and he direct messaged me on Instagram and he said, sup? I said, sup, do you want a video? And he said, yeah, I want a video. And he asked how much it cost. And I said $1,500. And he said, no problem. That was crazy at that point because, I mean, up until that point, the only payment I had really received from a video was shooting those 12 days in a row and the Canada Games giving me $1,000. In this case, it was like I would go shoot for a few hours and make something, and then it was $1,500. Steve Built, they're called, has become my longest standing client. I've been working with him for 5 years now. And he's the person that actually allowed me to build up my retainer model. So from there, I ended up doing more work with Raven's Head, which was the other construction company that I first did the work with James. I've done work with Mitchell, with Martin, a company that renovates all the Tim Hortons, Cedar Coast Homes, Lakewood, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, all of these projects that I've done in that vein of my career came from one free video. Everything stemmed from that point in time. So this way of starting your career and starting to get clients is crazy powerful. Don't think that you need to get paid for everything that you do. It's actually a lot more valuable to do something amazing as though you're doing it for yourself for free than to give someone a price because you want to get paid because you're working, and then them undercutting you because you don't have the portfolio or the reputation to even charge anything. And they're going to undercut you and say, well, I'll give you $250. And you say yes because you're too stubborn and you want to get paid something to make this video. That's not a good way to do it because your ego is going to get involved and you're going to get resentful and you're going to fizzle out and you're going to fail. Sorry, like that's just what's going to happen. So just make a bunch of shit for free and people will start paying you a lot of money. Because when there's no money attached to it, there's no pressure in terms of you enjoying it or doing a good job, or there's no argument of what is worth what. You just do the thing and you make it as good as you can because you're passionate about this. This is why you got into this in the first place and why you're making videos. To get paid to do it is just a bonus. And it's ideal, obviously. We all want that. I'm sure that's why you're watching this video, because you want to get paid to make videos for people. Don't forget to love the process. And number one rule with using this strategy specifically is to make it organic. Like, have conversations with people you want to talk to and pitch doing things for people that you want to be doing things for, especially at the start. As you get further along, there's going to be aspects of your career that you aren't as excited about, but it's a good paycheck. There was another marketing company that I worked with for a while, and the owner's name was Vince, and he said, not everything needs to be a portfolio piece, and he was 100% correct. And those projects all paid really well. So sometimes there's just going to be projects you do further into your career that you're not as stoked about, but they pay you well, and that gives you the budget to go and do stuff that you are excited about. Now, here is the interesting thing after the whole free phase of the free to fee strategy. You're going to shoot for free for as long as you need to until people start asking you, what does it cost? The key here is sharing it. So don't just make things for people and give them to them and then, brush your hands and go off and do something else and never share it with anybody. Shoot the thing, and then right when it's done, post it on Instagram, share it, post it on Facebook, because a lot of older gen hangs out on Facebook who are going to be your clients, right? Make sure you're sharing what you're doing and building up some hype around the brand that you're building for yourself. And then people will start reaching out to you. And if they don't, just keep pushing. Keep reaching out, keep making connections, keep networking, keep making free shit. Again, like things are just gonna grab. Going back to that Canada Games thing, I frickin' hustled on that thing. It was crazy. I don't know how I did that. It was literally 12 days back to back, starting at 6 p.m., going till 11 p.m., and then editing from midnight till 4 or 5 a.m., 12 days in a row. And the marketing manager of the Canada Games saw that hustle, saw the work ethic, and saw the quality that I was producing at such an early stage in my career. That became valuable. And I made a lot of money working with the Canada Games for a year and a half straight. And that's just how it happens. It's pretty exciting once you start to get to that point. Now, when people do start to ask you what something costs, honestly, you're just gonna have to make it up for a while. You're just gonna have to pick a number and throw it out there. And then you have a conversation back and forth. Either they'll say that's too much or okay, sounds good. Trust your gut and pick a number that you think something is worth. And that's really all the information that you'll have from this video on that regard for now, because in the next video, I'm gonna get into how to set your rates. And that is a process that's actually not that hard. To give you a little piece of what is gonna be in that video, you basically just need to replace the income you have right now from your day job. So you're gonna pick a rate that's based on your hourly wage right now, and obviously add a little bit because you have your own gear and travel, fuel, all that stuff. You're just gonna charge that per hour, basically. But I will get more into depth on that in the next video about setting your rates. For now, thank you so much for watching and have a good one.